Oh, right. Hello, everyone. Michael, aka the Trek Lad here. Welcome back to the channel for day 7, episode 7 of the epic, almighty Star Trek Picard watch through, watch along, rewatch. The first time I've rewatched it since the beginning. Welcome. I'm glad you can join. Come and say hello in the chat. You know what to do. If you're an Amazon Prime user, I have pinned a comment to the chat. You can come and watch it with me and my wonderful guest who is joining me after coming on a couple of nights ago. He needs no real introduction, but I'm going to give him a big, nice introduction anyway. This episode is nice. This episode is, well, it's mostly nice. We'll get into the not nice stuff, I'm sure. But this episode is a kind of special one. It's respite from all of the darkness and secrets and mystery for the most part. But this episode is kind of like a flash forward to a potential future featuring myself and my guest. Hopefully, one day, 40 years maybe from now, we're doing this same stuff and we're burning tomatoes. What do you say, Chris? What do you think about that? Does that sound good to you?
Sounds like a plan. I mean, I'm already burning my fair share of tomatoes. I'm not a very good cook.
How can you? How easy is it to burn tomatoes? Like,
Quite easy, especially if you're doing grilled tomatoes with a fry up. I feel like that's quite easy to do. You get like the charred surface.
the charred surface is good though because it goes with the.
Yeah, as long as it is the surface. Mine's just a bit more.
I mean, like the burnt tomato that Riker's holding up in this episode is like annihilated tomato. Like and he looks quite pleased with himself. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
that's
but it touched Jonathan Frakes' hand, so I'm all over
not... Trek royalty.
It's like Sheldon in Big Bang Theory. I could clone Jonathan Frakes.
Well, the world could do with more Jonathan Frakes for sure. I mean, we need more A-lister directors to direct our Star Trek. How you doing?
Not too bad. How are your fine self?
Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, I've said it over the last few evenings that this hasn't been too difficult a rewatch for me. I've enjoyed myself a bit more. Probably because the quality of the company's just been so good. You know, people in the chat, the people that have been joining on the stream. There we go. So no pressure.
Before we start, I have one question now.
No.
How did you enjoy your Stardust City Rag rewatch? Because I know you are really looking forward to that.
We just talked all the way through it. It was myself and Starfleet Boy who loves the episode, and it was interesting to get his thoughts. I think the people that like Stardust City Rag do make some valid points about why they enjoy it. I agreed with some of them. I disagreed with a lot of them. But honestly, a couple of beers, some good company, it wasn't that bad. I still maintain that episode, you could just get rid of it. You just don't really need to have it in this show. You know, the whole 7 of 9 story is fine. There are some basic fundamental storytelling mistakes, but that's littered through Picard. And yeah, I will say that when I saw Nepenthe, because everybody said they loved Nepenthe, and I was not one of those people. I was in the minority. I was just like, it felt to me, the first time I watched it anyway, it felt to me like a bit of a distraction, like a magic trick, like a look over here, but the ball's in this hand. And it's like, it doesn't do anything. And we'll get to it when we start the episode. But the episode, those scenes raise something which I find quite interesting that is never mentioned again. And it's like, I'm sometimes guilty of looking into things a little bit too much and just be like, why are they doing this? And people are like, oh, dude, just binge watch it. I'm like, I'm not going to fucking binge watch it.
Well, I mean, you're expected to take some narrative leaps, but when those leaps are just too vast, I agree with you. Like, you can't achieve it.
I mean, I do enjoy the stuff that I watch, but when I'm watching it and I'm like, I'm going, why are they doing that? Why are they using those words in that way, in that sentence? there's a scene in this episode where that happens. I think there's a couple of scenes in this episode where it happens.
Okay.
So yeah, should we get into it?
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Cool. All right. So we're gonna get going with an Nepenthe rewatch. I'm going to do a countdown from 10, and then we'll hit go. If you've got this on CBS All Access, it'll be on CBS All Access, soon to be Paramount Plus. If you've got a Blu-ray, DVD, whatever, join us, put it on, and yeah, let's get into this. Let's do a countdown. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! I'm going to stick the subtitles on, I think, just so we got it all. There we go. And it's Hugh doing the last time on Star Trek Picard. There we go. Good lad.
A little cameo. Hugh.
Oh, all of the million things that she scanned. 37 mums.
Yeah, I really did feel that was a bit on the nose. Like 2 or 3 of them, fine, but 37, 37, 37.
And I was kind of like, why would you have all of your childhood possessions with you on a ball cube?
I enjoyed this sequence from the previous episode. It felt almost like a mind meld.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why Narek tried to murder her with some radiation when he could have just shot her, but, you know. K.
Yeah.
Oh, that line that I really took the Mickey out of when it happened. The Picard's come. It's Narek just being miserable to people.
I do question Elnor's ninja-like skill set and why it was decided upon.
Because it looks
completely out of place given the science fiction futuristic setting.
Because it looks cool.
Well, there is that, yeah. I mean, who doesn't like being decapitated? Oh, we get to see glasses again.
Oh. How did she know someone was... you can feel when people are there. Those bloody sunglasses. Fractal neuronic cloning. What a term.
I also never really understood the premise behind the duplicate neurons and the twins.
I don't think anybody does.
That's technobabble at its finest.
Cross it off. Technobabble. She didn't.
I am
she
not
didn't laugh.
amused.
I just can't take the glasses seriously. I just can't. Like, we know that Vulcans have those eyelids that don't require sunglasses.
You keep referring to that line. Was it not just a throwaway reference in an Enterprise arc?
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with you. You know, continuity is important, but maybe she's got an eye condition.
Oh, maybe. But surely
narrative leaps, remember.
But it's $23.99. Conditions shouldn't be a thing. It's like when Kirk has glasses in. He's given glasses in 2, and he has no idea what they are. He has no idea what they are. It's like, what are these Klingon aphrodisiacs? They have no idea what glasses are in the future. Oh no. The stock footage.
There's a lot of stock footage in this sequence, isn't there?
Oh, there's one. If you're taking a drink every time something comes out of Jurati's mouth other than words, take a drink.
I was going to say, other than words.
That's quite a violation, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What do you need me to do? Looks like
Oh, and this is a prelude to one of the other vomits.
Ugh.
It literally looks like a Tide Pod.
Don't try this at home, kids. Hello, Joseph. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining in the chat. We are 5 minutes on the dot into Picard, including the previously on.
Why did it have to be chewed? Surely that would compromise whatever circuitry was inside it.
Or unless it was like an organic compound. It was glowing. I don't get it. Okay, thank you for telling us what's going on rather than showing us.
I agree with that.
I mean, you could literally have just had them sat there and all of a sudden the Borg just locks a tractor beam on. They're like, what? But maybe not. But you have to have people shouting at each other in Picard.
Oh.
It's my reaction as well. It's so depressing.
It's so relentlessly brutal.
Like, how many XBs do you reckon there are on that cube still? Surely they could overrun and overwhelm just one or two Romulans, right?
Sure, yeah.
The Romulan antagonists must surely be outnumbered.
Yeah, especially when you factor in the legitimate Borg drones that are on that cube.
And also, Hugh is a former drone, and we see what happens if you're a former drone. We saw it with 7. Enhanced strength. Right? Oh, God.
Yeah, but maybe he was just a little bitch drone.
I mean, are we to assume that... Are we to assume that perhaps all of the Romulan forces on the cube are actually working for the Zhat Vash? But... given the fact that they're attempting to, the whole point of the not the Quatmala, the Zhat Vash, is to save organics from artificial life. Surely they would want to save XBs. Surely, if they respect life and they're trying to save life from the machines, why is she doing the stuff that she does?
Well, maybe she just considers these as basically lost causes. They've been violated. Their purity has been... You get the idea.
I mean, maybe say that.
Or better yet, show it.
Yeah. It just never feels to me like there's... Though that, there are evil people in this world and in the history of this world, but... Most really evil people and most decent evil antagonists truly believe what they're doing is right. So there's almost like this kind of... There's this... I'm trying to think of the word. It needs to be done. What they're doing is essential and vital.
Oh yeah, I mean, but this
She just looks like
particular
she's
villain has no motivation whatsoever apart from
no.
just being evil.
She just looks like she's getting off on being evil. Which, I
I get.
get it. Size. Just screenshot that. Oh, a little bit of a Jeff Russo. We're putting the theme into the music. He's like, well, that's less of a drain on the replicator.
We never really understood why you were here in the first place.
Yeah, Picard's not here, so we don't give a shit. Let's go. What happened to the tractor beam?
I know I said it the last episode I was part of. I'm going to say it again. The ship is growing on me. I never know how to pronounce it. Is it the Serenia?
La Serenia, yeah. Unless I missed a line about them releasing the tractor beam so he could follow them. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she said let them go because they had a communication, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, so everybody kind of goes, "Oh, Nepenthe, it's the nice episode." That was miserable.
Yeah, it was miserable. But was it Icheb getting his eye removed? Miserable.
I'm just so sad. Did we get Marina Sirtis in those credits, by the way? Because I think we only got an and Jonathan Frakes.
I think so. I think you're right.
I don't want to go back because it will throw everybody out of whack. But yeah, that's weird.
I must say though, I prefer this theme to Discovery. And even Lower Decks, maybe.
No. Well, I mean, that's your opinion.
Just the music alone. I mean, the credit sequence of Lower Deck literally owns everything.
I like the credits music for this. It's great. I don't like much of the actual score for Picard.
It's a little bit more delicate than Discovery. Discovery likes its bombastic moments and revels in them.
I still feel like Picard's music is trying to insist a feeling on you.
A feeling that ultimately isn't reflected in the content of the show.
Exactly, yeah.
Why I like Nepenthe is I feel like it's really true to what they said the show was going to be.
Which was?
Basically more of a character-driven, deep look into Picard's later years.
Yeah, which would be fine if there wasn't complete misunderstandings of the character in question.
R.I.P. Bunnycorn.
And the biggest issue for me is there's this rhetoric about Picard not understanding families, and I've said this before. He lived an entire life as a family man in the Inner Light.
It
happened. It happened. And it's one of the most famous episodes. How do you not incorporate that? So they know that he's got a solid Duratanium heart, but they don't know that he had this entire life. I think they know, but what they're trying to do is just kind of go, forget about it. Forget about it.
I suppose until that moment he was famously not fond of children and families.
Yeah.
But can we just show some appreciation for Kestra?
Yeah, she's...
what an actress.
I don't remember much about her, really. And I don't know how old this character's supposed to be.
I think she's like early to mid-teens, like 13, 14 maybe.
It would make sense in the timeline.
I felt that was a zinger we just spoke over.
Oh.
I feel like she's one of the more fleshed out characters, though, of Picard.
Yeah.
And you see her for one episode, but you understand why she acts the way she does, the loss she feels for her brother, you know.
Hello, Howard. Um, yeah,
You understand
people.
her motivations more than a lot of the other characters.
Yeah, I think she's well written. I think there are elements of this episode. I mean, I think some of the stuff on the Nepenthe is well written. Yeah, I saw people campaigning for Kestra to get her own spin off. I'm like, we can't have a spin off for everything.
Captain Kestra has a nice ring to it. She's like, I have no idea what's going on.
I feel like she was really trying to push that tear out.
She's an android.
Prick me. Do I not leak? I would, the thing is with the androids in TNG is we always kind of had some understanding of how they worked and what their inner workings were. We never really get that with Soji. We never get that with Daj. It's like, what? I mean, she's so human-like.
But we also had hundreds of episodes that included Data, had allusions to Data's programming and functionality, episodes that explored Data alone,
Yeah.
there was just a lot more ground was covered because of the sheer quantity.
Yeah, true. But
just stop there.
it's I always feel like older Star Trek kind of would take some steps to at some level explain the technology. To explain, in this we've got an android that seems to be an impossible android, given the fact that they for so many years were unable to replicate Data, and then they just go and create basically a human.
I feel like
It's
that
kind
would
of
be mostly to cater for the diehard fans such as you and me, and they'd have to sacrifice pace and storytelling to achieve it. You wouldn't have to, but that's probably what they thought.
I'm not expecting like a roboticist or a cyberneticist to spend one episode going the left arm's connected to the robotor. So I'm not expecting that. I don't need
That's
a
what
lesson.
I expected.
But I don't know, something more. To my knowledge, these Soji is essentially a Battlestar Galactica Cylon. She is a flesh and blood android. Hello, Troy.
Do you know what would have been a great middle finger?
What?
If she just lived here alone and Riker lived somewhere else. That wound on her head was a lot worse there than in the previous scene where they were walking towards the house.
Stop yelling!
Stop yelling! Do you remember when we saw this in the trailer and lost our minds?
Yes. That would be your reaction, wouldn't it? Like, Jean-Luc Picard walks into your house.
Oh, man!
Here's some flour on your back. That's very true, Zhejiang girl. But they still opened up her head, and she had parts and wires and stuff, and probably couldn't cry.
Or she just didn't get particularly upset in that episode, so we never saw it.
I think she dies. I think that's tear-worthy.
No one cries after they die.
Or something bad happens to her, and that's how they find out. I can't quite remember. It's a good episode, but it is very true. I mean, she's a very realistic model for sure. That's some good acknowledgement from Picard. I mean, the plan wasn't that great. Let's get in a ship and let's go.
Well, only the other day we were discussing that there was no real plan because I think you asked me, "What are they doing?"
Let's go and get that person that might be there. That sounds delicious. Oh no! It's...
Warming horn.
It is. These scenes are nice. There's that bloody necklace. Take it off.
Hope it's waterproof. Do you like all these other data references that I'm just listing?
This does seem to be an invasion of privacy. Like, you couldn't write that scene if Kestra was a boy. I mean, maybe you could. I don't know.
Should be a little bit more like, oh god, get away from me. What I really like about the dynamic between these two is that Soji is essentially a child, like Kestra is.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, there's this other thing as well that at the moment she does. I mean, she doesn't seem to be. She seems to be taking it in her stride that she's a machine, and then in the next scene she's like, and then next scene she's like, let's eat some pizza, and then the next scene she's losing it, and it, like, if it, the thought experiment, you've just been told that you're a machine and everything is isn't real. You would lose your mind.
Probably
right?
offline for a bit, to be honest. Now that I know I've got the option.
Where's the off switch?
Yeah, I can exit this life. I'm done.
What are you doing? I'm installing a patch and I'm switching off. I'm going away. That's an interesting point. Didn't they say that in TNG that people don't eat meat anymore? Yeah, I mean, Riker says that we no longer consume animals for food purposes.
Yeah,
he lied. He lied.
But
or he just
bunny call's a vegetable.
He hadn't realized how tasty meat was. So as soon as he arrives on the Nepenthe, he's like, "Why didn't we do this years ago?"
All the plants are venomous, and it's the only thing they can eat, apart from the tomato and basil.
It's the only thing they can eat on the planet.
So yeah, until they actually started planting and growing these herbs, they had to only eat bunny corn. It's a wonderful house there.
It is a nice house. Reminds me of the house that we saw in Generations. Brandon, hello. O'Brien's mum cooked with real meat, though. Yeah, but Irish people are cool.
She was a woman of a different time. Meat and potatoes. I shouldn't speak of such a tender moment.
Is that good Photoshop? But that skull on the desk, that's not a...
Oh, God. Don't say it.
I mean, it is Picard. It's dark as fuck. Ah, we kept it.
This is a nice score.
It's wonderful to see you as well, Marina Sirtis. Stay off Twitter.
I'm sensing you might stay. We've got someone staying from tomorrow.
I do. I mean, I think the Marina Sirtis is a highlight of this episode. I feel like, you know, the writing of her character was always so underwritten, underutilized, just stating the obvious all the time. And here she's given stuff of weight to do, and it's about time, and it's nice to see. And that small detail as well, they double-barreled the name, so
Yeah,
Troy
I
Riker.
just saw that.
Yeah,
I was
that's
about
cute.
to make a comment about the skull. Like, clearly he looks like he was into archaeology, paleontology, something like that. So it's not his skull, which I know you were trying
Which
to
is
say.
good to have the clarification. Oh, look at him playing a toy while he's driving a ship. Edgelord. Okay, so they've established that they do have a tail. Sit down.
This must be what I look like when I've got my Oculus on and I'm playing Bridge Crew. Just going in midair.
You think you look cool, but you're like, well, what's going on? Smash.
Happened too much.
I can't remember Troy's voice in Nemesis. I always thought that, I don't know, I didn't realize that Troy's voice was such a talking point. Somebody, I was listening to a podcast and somebody said that she sounds like a deaf person. I was like, no, she doesn't.
In the early seasons, yeah. I see it.
Well, she sounded French, kind of like she was doing some sort of British French,
I think she
Anglo
was
Franco.
encouraged to do, like, I think it was supposed to be an Eastern European accent, from what I
Really?
understand. Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, this is amazing kind of intuition from someone that's spent most of the time smoking and drinking.
Well, Agnes is really wearing her heart on her sleeve.
It's quite an outburst. The worst line of dialogue in this whole series. Come
Why
for
do
a
you feel so
ride with
strongly
Auntie
about
Raffi. Here we go. Bird tomato. Oh, maybe not yet.
Give him
I
a
want
chance.
that. I want that house. Why are they not contacting Starfleet to inform them of the situation?
Do they not do that very soon?
I can't remember. I don't.
When they establish that this is some kind of Romulan plot and there's someone within Starfleet intelligence, I think at that point they contact Starfleet because that's why the fleet ends up arriving.
Yeah,
They do contact Starfleet.
they do. I mean, because of course, I mean, because the fleet has to arrive somehow. But I don't know. It just seems like something that Picard would hail Admiral, fuck off a bit sooner and be like, something's happening. I told you. I know he does that because she then does the whole shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, little Data head tilt.
That annoys me because she hasn't done that all episode. And she does it there because it purely fits the not episode, sorry, series.
She did it. She did it earlier on in the run. She did it during that really stupid skid scene on the Borg cube. She did a kind of like but I'm kind of in agreement. It's done so we, the audience, go, but she's so human. She
Yeah.
has mucus and saliva.
She does
Why
that
would...
once just so Riker can go, Data. And then she goes back to being completely normal.
See, Picard's drinking. He knows.
This isn't from my vineyard.
I mean, to be fair, like any time it's the Romulans, you just go count Tao Xia, right? How would... I don't know. If she was walking down the street and I saw her, I would be like, "Hello, human." And
Yeah,
if she did a head,
like
if she did a head tilt like that, I'd be like, "Nervous tick?
there a bug in your ear?
Are you irritated?" He knows. He's dealt with teenagers in his other life.
Teenagers aren't 37 months old. You're dealing with an infant.
Oh.
You're about to see a burnt one.
It's made from our shit, you know.
That lie was brilliant.
Don't just sit there and eat a tomato like that.
Yeah, no one eats tomatoes like that.
Like a savage. Why is that funny? It's like those stock images where people are laughing at their food. This salad is so funny. AK, leave this scene so we can have a one-on-one. This is the scene, by the way.
Wherever you're from.
A box.
It's too funny.
Right. So I find it really interesting that they raise the explanation behind Thaddeus's death, the NN, as being a disease that it sounds like something that you would expect to see later on in the season, given the fact that Picard is suffering from a degenerative disease himself. They never bring this up again. It's just kind of in here to explain death and then tie it into synth
It ties
stuff.
it into the synth stuff, yes, but Picard's degenerative disease is not silicon based, nor does it have anything to do with silicon based life. So I don't see why they would bring it up.
Potentially, but then why are we exploring the death of their kid when they're talking about her coming to terms and grips with being a synthetic person?
I don't know.
I mean, Gijon girl, yeah, it did become quite hostile, didn't it? And
it did take a very hostile turn. I always thought that how they scored that musically was quite sinister.
yeah. Prankasha, hola, Trekladians. Thank you so much for the super chat as well. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Welcome. Yeah, it's the whole brushing past as well, and
I feel like this is quite hostile as well. Accurate, but
burn tomato. What a way to kind of undercut the tension in the scene. I burnt the food. This scene is tonally all over the shop.
it is.
Like 1 minute, she's giving him a bit of a dress down.
There's a bit of red in it still.
I'd eat it. I'd eat it.
I'd eat it, yeah. I completely agree with you. Like, tonally, that was very inconsistent.
She's kind of in his face, and then the next minute they're walking off and arm in arm, and
Yeah.
you
need to cut us some slack. Now let's sit around the table like it's a ready room. Yeah.
That scene feels to me like it really was written by two people, and like one person just stopped midway through and I passed out drunk or something. Okay. So here's the thing, right? I mean, obviously they didn't do it because there's so many drones still on the ship. So many drones still on the ship that haven't been de-Borgified, right? Why didn't Hugh just grab a load of those guys to help him out? Like he's clearly been walking around the cube, vowing revenge for a while.
I'm guessing he can't command them like 7 of 9 can. Again, I'm taking narrative leaps.
Blasty, blasty, disgusting time. I do like the weapon design. I mean, I wish you wouldn't use it all the time, but, you know.
Nah, I just like swords.
I mean, that whole kind of stare down circle before a punch up is How many times have we seen that? No. Oh,
Mm.
fuck you, Picard. Fucking horrible show. Oh,
Ah.
thank you for some exposition before you die. This yeah, so disappointing.
Mm.
I think that was unanimously just hated, wasn't it? Just the treatment of Hugh there, and such an unceremonious death. Just and then the following
And then
scene.
cake.
Here's some cake. It's borderline insulting. Although that cake looks great. I'd have some of that cake. I mean, I'd have most cake, to be honest. Let's be real. This is episode 2, by the way, since she killed Bruce Maddox, and still no sign of that EMH to be like, yeah, by the way, she turned me off while she was stood and turning buttons and that guy was dying. What happened
He does
about
eventually
that?
come back and say that, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he does. It's taken a while.
I don't know. Why has it taken like a day? Or longer, probably. Cake's not that bad, is it?
You killed
Just
him.
why do they always have to call him the full name? Surely it's Bruce. It's Bruce, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris Wickham. How you doing, Chris Wickham? It's Chris Wickham, isn't it?
It's a bit unnerving. I know how famous people feel now when you
Ugh.
full name them at conventions.
Yeah, no cake for that person ever again. That thing shouldn't make the same sound as a communicator. But no, that's a pure
Let it
nitpick.
go.
That's
Let
a
it go. It's the nittiest of nitpicks.
What is that thing?
Look at all those candles.
Is that 3 costume changes for Troy in like a day? Where that? Shishungo. This guy, Captain Crandall, definitely coming back in season 2. I mean,
Definitely
Captain Crandall should have his own spin-off.
With Kestra.
Star Trek Crandall. Coming soon to Paramount Plus.
I'd watch that.
Take my money. You get at least 5 people who'd be like, it's not Star Trek.
Discovery season 4, there'll be a ship called the USS Crandall.
I don't know where this. I do not know where this conflict between Picard and Sophie's come from. I mean, perhaps some mistrust, but he helped her escape from abuse, near
It's
murder.
basically what Troy said. Like, is this just more subterfuge or misdirection?
Mm.
So I understand it.
But I guess that's what youngsters do. They misplace their anger and their frustrations, don't they? And they take it out on people closest to them. We did that when we were growing up, and she's 37 months old.
Sorry, did.
Okay. Yeah, and she's going to have a trust issue, isn't she? She's questioning everything in her life.
Hmm.
But here's some Picard speeching.
Cross it off.
We've almost got a line. All we need is more cake vomit. I'm still trying to work out how Narek knew that there was a window to look up at, but okay.
Did she not describe that to him?
I don't think so. She's like, I'm in a room with lights.
I'm in a room with lights. No.
Didn't do a very good job of it, though, did he? Bruce. Cool, let's go. Let's do it now. Let's go.
No, we just
She texting
DM
under
Crandall.
my crush.
He's so dreamy. I love a captain in uniform.
I like the fact that 400 years later and texting under the table is still a thing.
That's kind of reassuring.
But then again, so is murdering people and burning food.
I slid into his DMs.
She is very handy, this Kestra. I mean, you'd literally just seen a Borg cube. You know that that's not true. Mm. She's like, yeah.
Like, whew. Yeah, Raffi, definitely Raffi.
I feel like, given the fact that there are only 3 of them on the ship at this point, he's taking a risk talking to just one of them. He's got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. That's
But he's
unacceptable.
convinced it's Raffi, so why would he ever doubt himself?
Well, he's wrong.
Well, I'm not debating that.
But if you've got a 50-50 chance, I don't know. I don't know if those odds are... No. That's more assuming the gender of the pilot again. I don't like that. Because they don't know it's Narek yet, do they? Could be anyone. Could be 7 of 9 for all we know. I find it like interesting that she doesn't, because she's already essentially fulfilled her mission, right, by killing Maddox. Well, no, she's. I don't know. She's
into a coma now, doesn't she, or something?
No, she's trying to. She's trying to get rid of that tracker, isn't she? No, I guess the tracker's in there to lead them to the homeworld. So they're like the Romulans are hedging their bets. So. I mean, whatever this drug is, it doesn't look fun.
Didn't you say uranium hydride?
Yeah. Unless falling on the floor is your thing. The amount of Agnes body fluid in this episode is staggering. Oh, look! There he is! He's like, oh, wait. You're the one that stopped me from saving that man. Should I just go away?
I remember you.
It's like the sat-nav is broken. That was a great subtitle on Amazon Prime, by the way. Shouts in Romulan.
I thought you just said yes.
I've always wanted to do a slides downstairs. I just know that I wouldn't be able to pull it off. I'd probably fall over and die or something.
That was a very skillful roll, considering he's got a sheath behind him.
Yeah.
Could have easily got caught on the table. Convenient.
Mm-hmm. Where on earth did that come from?
Yeah, I was wondering why it was on the table.
What is that? What are the odds? What are the odds that in that part of the cube, on that cube, there's a 7 of 9 beam thing?
But she gave them one, didn't she, at the end of Stardust City Rag? Is it the same one? Or is it just a random one just lying around?
Like, if in the previous episode, like, she'd given it to Picard and you'd seen Picard maybe drop it as he's running off, that would be fine, that would make sense. But none of that's set up.
She did give it to him, so maybe he did drop it.
But show us that. Show. There's a scene where they're running away. Like,
nah, but I feel like if you show it so obviously, then it would just be like, oh, for God's sake, stop.
No, I think it would be the sowing of a seed. It would be moving something on instead of just being like, well, maybe he. I don't want to speculate. I want to see this stuff. It's TV for a reason.
I suppose I'd shoot it personally, but I wouldn't make it so obvious. Like, I wouldn't be like, I'd be like,
you could literally just have a scene where he's running and like it falls on the floor and for a split second. Yeah. So was Agnes trying to deactivate the tracker or trying to kill herself? I always took it that she was trying to deactivate the tracker because yeah, it is an interesting thing. I mean, it's Star Trek Picard, so probably trying to kill herself. Yeah. I think Brandon's probably got it. That's a nice scene. That's a nice shot.
What I like is when they use, obviously, places on Earth to film this, but then they just add like subtle differences in the background to make it seem alien, like an
Yeah,
extra moon or something on the.
some alien butterflies. Nepenthe is at its strongest when these two are sharing a scene or Marina Sirtis is there. Um, and you know, there's Kestra is a strong character as well, stronger than I remember her being. A lot of promise for following up that character.
Especially for Star Trek Kestra.
Coming soon to Paramount Plus. Again, more of the invading of personal space. I'm going to draw you while you're asleep. I love that she calls him Captain Picard as well. Yeah, Brandon, that's a good point. I actually think that you could have Kestra around with Soji as like the next generation of the next generation, and then you don't have to have Riker and Troy around. They're legacy characters that the torch has been passed down.
The next generation.
The next generation.
Like Soji's outfit.
So it's useless then. I've got to carry I got to carry this around. I haven't got a bag or anything.
I have an internal compass, Kestra. Take this back.
I'm a machine. Look how awkwardly she's holding it. Oh, okay. Right, so if they beamed back aboard the La Serenia, even though they transported 40,000 light years.
I don't think it was 40,000, was it?
I thought it was 40,000 light years.
No, I highly doubt that.
I'm going to look it up.
Do it.
Look at that alien stuff.
I know, right?
Oh, that's a nice. No, I swear they transport 40,000 light years. Right, I'm bringing it up. What's the last episode called? The Impossible Box. The Impossible Box. I swear they transported 40,000 light years. And then they kind of found them in like, they got to their location like a second.
Well, Rios says it's 3 days away at maximum warp, so it couldn't have been 40,000 light years. He said it was several days away, maybe if not 3.
I might need to find the script, but as he turned, Eleanor's gone. Maybe it's in. I'm on Memory Alpha.
There's an interesting comment in regards to how we got there so quickly.
Transwarp conduit. Yeah, but where is it? Where is
like
the transwarp?
It's like the Vardoir subspace corridor network. It's all mapped out now. It could even be the Vardoir conduit.
This seems bollocks, really. I'm quite sure they say it's
a reference.
I'm quite sure they say it's yes. Actually, no. Sorry, it has a range. Okay, so it has a range of 40,000 light years.
Ah, right. Yeah. Portal, whatever it was called.
Yeah, contacts Raffi, set a course to meet them at the Nepenthe. So he tells them that they're at the Nepenthe, and then there's probably that they're 3 days away. So that kind of makes sense. The way Nepenthe is depicted, though, is it kind of looks like they just stay the night. So, because we see one dinner scene, one sleep scene.
Maybe it's just implied that more time passes than it does, because he did say several days, so it seems unlikely.
Unless a standard day on Nepenthe is several days, maybe. But again,
There is
it's
that.
just when you're watching this, someone like me, bit anal, will watch this and be like, I'm taken out by these questions. I don't, I don't want these questions. And honestly, I doubt that the writers are thinking like that, because they're trying to kind of compose tonally dissonant scenes in scenes. But this episode is still not, this episode, watching this today again, it's not done anything to improve it for me. It's if anything, it's just reminded me of just how much nasty stuff is sandwiched between the Nepenthe scenes. It's
like a compliment sandwich, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's the people watching this will go, oh, it's lovely because we see Riker, because we see Troy, Kestra's great. But it's the distraction, and
Hugh dies, XBs get massacred.
Oh god, Agnes is being sick everywhere. There's some nice bits in it, and there's some utterly foul bits in it too. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much summing up Picard for me. Brandon, it's a mess of an episode, redeemed by some of the scenes on Nepenthe. Yeah, I mean the Nepenthe scenes are nice, but it's like it's sugarcoating something that it's. I don't know. I don't want to be too flippant and rude. I know. I will say that people that I know say that this is one of their favorite episodes of Star Trek ever, and respect people's opinions. But I don't know how. I don't know how we can arrive. I mean, I certainly can't agree with that.
Well, let's just face it, they're wrong, because Sub Rosa is the best episode of Star Trek.
I've actually been reading. When I say reading, I'm listening to a book which is the follow-up to the Star Trek. It's a follow-up to this book, The 50-Year Mission. The one that I'm reading now is The Next 25 Years. Highly recommend it. These books are amazing. So much nuggety, brilliant information that I'm going to be using on future live streams and videos. And the writer of that episode legitimately believes that Sub Rosa is a good episode. They're like, yeah, we made a really good episode here, and I'm trying to remember it because I think I might be wrong here, but I think, yeah, that's it. It wasn't actually written by him, but Carl Sagan's son served as a story editor on season 7. Okay. And he actually thought it was a good episode. So the son of Carl Sagan thought
That's why season 7 was so good.
Carl Sagan confirmed.
Carl Sagan's son.
But yeah, Gijon Girl, you can apparently make bunny corn sausage in a couple of hours as well. Yeah, maybe time moves differently on the Nepenthe.
It's got to.
I think if we headcanon, I think if we headcanon some stuff, we have to headcanon quite a lot of stuff in Picard, which, yeah, it's okay. I accept some of it. But
narrative leaps.
Yeah, I can take so many narrative leaps. I can run through a wall X amount of times before my body breaks, and at this point, my body's about to break watching Picard. I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but that's just where we are. Chris, thoughts watching this again?
This is my third watch of this episode, and I think I just have to echo what you and some of the commenters are saying. The Nepenthe scenes really stand out. I adore Kestra. Sad to see Hugh leave. I could have done without all the scenes with Agnes and Raffi. Rios is always a highlight for me, because he just wants to kind of get on and get on with the mission, but there's always so much drama around him, which I can tell that he just really doesn't enjoy and is dismissive of. But yeah, it's solid episode.
Well, we're on a home stretch now. 3 episodes to go, and 3 episodes of this rewatch. I'll be back tomorrow, Friday, 9 p.m. GMT. I hope you can join. Thank you so much for joining, Chris. And to you who have joined in the live chat, thank you so much for joining once again. We'll be back tomorrow. I believe I'm being joined by the wonderful Marcelo. So do come and join us for then. Stay happy, stay safe. And until next time, everybody, live long and prosper.